Coming up in tonight's bulletin, SEMA reports copra and cocoa exports have earned over 500 million Solomon dollars in the first 9 months of 2025. The Fiji Solomon Islands community in Honiara marked the country's 55th independence anniversary. And amending the Island Marriage Act of 1975 will enable the country to not end child marriage but also see Solomon Islands align its laws to child protection international conventions. Hello, you're watching SIBC's TV News Bulletin. I'm Sharon Nanao. Solomon Islands copra and cocoa exports have earned over 500 million Solomon dollars in the first 9 months of this year, more than doubling last year's total, driven by high global prices and government support and growing youth and women participation. Alex Dadamo reports.
The Commodities Export Marketing Authority, SEMA, recorded an earning of over 511.9 million Solomon dollars from copra and cocoa exports in the first 3 quarters of 2025. This more than doubled last year's total earning of 240.6 million Solomon dollars. SEMA credited the growth to high global prices, government support through the revolving fund, and the increased participation by women and youths in farming. A statement released by SEMA saw its CEO Patson Siliota confirm that cocoa exports have now reached over 6,010 metric tons so far this year, putting the country on track to break its 2011 record of 6,136 tons. He said the country's farmers deserve the credit their hard work together with the support from the government and partners is driving this success story. Meanwhile, SEMA CSE Director Simon Chotu added that crossing the $500 million mark is a national achievement, reflecting a united effort across government, industry, and farming communities. SEMA says it will continue implementing the government's revitalization and recapitalization strategy, ensuring agriculture remains the backbone of the economy, empowering rural families and creating more opportunities across the country. Alex Dadamu for SIBC TV.
The Fiji Solomon Islands community in Honiara celebrated the country's 55th independence anniversary. Andrea Mahanua with more.
The Fiji Solomon Islands community in Honiara marked a special occasion this weekend, commemorating Fiji's 55th independence anniversary. The celebration began on Friday with a visit to the children's ward at the National Referral Hospital, where community members delivered care packs containing essentials to young patients.
And so that particular initiative is one that is born out of the office of the consular of Fiji here in Solomon Islands, Mr. Atum Balakana. And so the community in that regard supports that initiative by, contacting the ward, asking them what their needs are. But insofar as this year was concerned, what we actually did was we bought packs for the children who are admitted, and so this would include little things like pillows for neonatals, and we bought stuff that were also suitable for those who are up to the age of 1 and those who are 1 to 12 years old. Yeah? So that's our way of giving back to the community, our way of recognizing and celebrating Fiji Day here in Honiara.
The weekend continued with fun social and sport events that brought together Fijians and friends of Fiji together to reflect on the country's journey.
Well, I have been here for about 18 years now, married to a Solomon Islander, and for those of us who are here, this is our time of reflection to try to inculcate into our younger ones as to what it actually means to be Fijian, to continue to reinforce the spirit of giving that we're known for, and also for those of us who are professionals who are working here. It's also our time to reflect on the journeys that we've individually had. And I think one of the collective notions that you'll hear from members of the community is the gratitude that we each express to the Solomon Islands to be hosting us, whether it's running our business, whether it's here for work, whether it's here to settle and to stay. That's a sense of gratitude amongst the community for that.
Andrea Mahanwa for SIBC TV.
Now, amending the Islanders' Marriage Act of 1975 is being seen as a critical step towards ending child marriage in the Solomon Islands and aligning national laws with international child protection conventions. Eliza Kukutu reports.
Amending the Islanders' Marriage Act of 1975 will enable the country to not end child marriage but also see Solomon Islands align its laws to child protection international conventions. The country's law's non-compliance to internationally signed Convention on Children's Rights was highlighted at the International Day of the Girl celebrations on Friday. The Unseen and Unsafe report in 2019 highlighted that the rate of violence against children stands at 72%. Ending child marriage in the country's stakeholders say will reduce girls' exposure to family violence.
It is from there too that government plus Solomon Islands too hem look into this fallen need for realigning now the laws blaming country to international conventions where country blaming have been ratified, for example the CEDAW and UNCRC. And so it is this fala we say look survey government law that fala space to where him task him na law reform commission for him doing some review of certain laws, and it happened that Islanders Marriage Act of 1975 now one law where looking that there's a need for review and do some amendments.
In moving the marriage law from 15 years to 18 years old, children across the country can be protected both socially and economically.
Children in Solomon Islands are safe and protected too from child marriage, because there is also unrecorded cases too where happen a lot of provinces blame me when it comes to forced marriage, and not only that but also considering to the social and health impacts of child marriage to a lot of beginning blame. Children they're still learning, they're still maturing and not yet forget for understanding life and be able to develop some full potential blockade before they can get married. And so
for SIBC TV, I'm Eliza Kukutu.
General Bishop of the Coptic Orthodox Diocese of Melbourne and affiliated regions, including the Solomon Islands, His Grace Bishop Rewis is in the country this week for a visit. This is the first time in history an Orthodox bishop visited the country, and it sparked confusion and misunderstanding by the general public surrounding the Coptic Orthodox Church. His Grace Bishop Rewis spoke to SIBC TV and the church itself and some of its history.
It is one of the 5 major ancient churches in the Christian history, and it's been founded in Egypt by Saint Mark the Apostolic. And as all of us know, that the Lord Jesus Christ, he chooses 12 disciples in the beginning, and later on he appointed 70 others to send them to every place he was planning to go. And Saint Mark, he is the one, he wrote the Gospel of Saint Mark in the New Testament. And also, if we read the history of the Christianity, after the crucifixion of the Lord Jesus Christ, all the disciples were gathering in the upper room, which is the house of Saint Mark. And as Egypt is the only second Holy Land, because we know the first Holy Land is which the Lord Jesus Christ been born, which is Jerusalem, Bethlehem. And Egypt is the second because the angel of the Lord, as it's mentioned in the Gospel of St. Matthew, it's written, the Lord sent his angel to Joseph, told him, take the young child and his mother and flee to Egypt and stay there till I tell you. Each place it's been visited by the Holy Family, which is the Lord Jesus Christ and Saint Mary, the Mother of God, and Joseph, the guardian. It became a monastery holding the name of Saint Mary, or a church. And as it's mentioned of the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 19, there will be an altar of the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, which is, I am from this monastery.
His Grace Bishop Rewis reflected on his visit to Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele on Thursday and shared some of the short and long-term plan of the church.
Yes, yesterday I thank His Honorable the Prime Minister Jeremiah. he welcoming us, me accompanied by His Reverence Father Mark and Father Moses from the Diocese of Melbourne, and accompanied also by 2 deacons of the Australian Church. He was very welcoming and he was very willing to help us and assist us and make things easy. And as we talk together, we are willing to do some human empowerment and taking care with the education and medical clinics of the islands as much as we can, and we're waiting for his help to support and to work together on this matter.
His Grace entered the monastic life on 7th March 2001. Now, water bottling company Energy Water has resumed operation in Honiara after a temporary closure by the City Council's Environment Health Division over environmental safety standard breaches. Alex Dadamo with more on this story.
Water bottling company Energy Water has resumed operations after a brief halt. The Honiara City Council HCC Environmental Health Division has issued a closure notice to the company on August after an inspection found a breach to the required environment safety standards. The division confirmed that the reason for the closure was not related to the quality of the water itself, but rather on the general environment safety standard requirements.
The issue now, the first one, Energy Water, already issue clearance certificate for him. Already start by the operation, and the issue now, what me fala looking lo there, not something where the safety blow water, not to do with him now. Water, is something where inside lo factories where the environmental situations inside the factory without the need for upgrading come to the level where required under our legal bindings. So like for instance, this one under Pure Food Regulation Act Regulation 2010, where I'm stating all these matters inside. So me fala looking there are things that inside the factory where by making the safety and quality below water by affected, before give him stop notice or temporary closure for the stop first time operation, and take him up, carry him out, or the corrective measures for comply with him. It's the compliance when we look him low during that time if we do initial inspections.
She added that the division is looking forward to the full compliance of all food outlets and water bottle companies in Honiara City.
This one, as me say, ongoing thing, and me fella look forward for for full compliance blow with the companies with me fella, and if anything in doubt lo him or one him, me fella like him for work together with him me fella. So that together upgrade him or increase him the standard where got him to a standard where high up there that like anybody else but come inside the country, and wherever pick him any water for drink or whatsoever, got him the confidence.
Alex Dadamo for SIBC TV.
Now, a young broadcaster from the Solomon Islands is back home after a transformative experience working in Fiji's bustling media industry. Stephanie Titili, a radio broadcaster with Power FM in Honiara, recently completed a media attachment under the Pacific Emerging Media Leadership Program, under the Pacific Media Assistance Scheme and Communications Fiji Limited.
So it is actually a intra-Pacific radio broadcasting placement. So they have to appoint certain organizations as well to do the placement. So they sent an email to us saying that there was a number of requests having a lot of regional broadcasting stations that want to be part of this placement. So I was very fortunate enough to be nominated from my organization to be part of this 2 weeks placement. I found very interesting, especially with how media in the Fiji Islands is quite different from us as well. It really opened my eyes more into the way they approach in terms of content platforms, how they share information, as well as holding being accountable for the things that you post and all that stuff. It really because they are very huge, especially with the media platforms and websites and all that.
Titili shared her reflections on the major differences between media in Fiji and back home and her hopes for the future.
With regards to the technology side, especially, there's a huge difference, and I saw and I even compared that, Imilohia, we are quite way back in terms of how we share our content, especially with news, and being up to date with content sharing and all the stuff. Being there for 2 weeks, it really opened my eyes, like I said, and really motivated me how we can use that same approach, because it's not hard. If Fiji can do it, we can do it as well. So that is one thing that really motivated me to bring back here as well.
And that's news. Follow us on sibconline.com.sb and our SIBC News Facebook page for more of our latest stories. Thanks for watching.